the metropolis of New York, home to more than 9 million people. During rush hour in Manhattan, it can often seem like more. It's one of the most densely populated cities on the planet and uses around 1.3 billion gallons of water every day. That's enough to fill more than 2,200 Olympic-sized swimming pools. The delivery of this water for everything from drinking to cleaning is a huge logistical, environmental and financial challenge. Just over an hour's drive north of Manhattan, the landscape is so rural it's easy to imagine the city is 1,000 kilometres away. And this area, called a water catchment, provides virtually all of New York's water. About 75% of the area is covered with forest, important because forests often substantially increase the purity of water by acting as natural filters. It may provide most of New York City's water, but it's also an area where people live. This means management and protection strategies are based on partnerships with local people. The city's Department of Environment Protection will spend about $1.5 billion over 10 years buying land, working with and subsidising farmers and other landholders who adopt best environmental practice. Tom Hudson's farm was a pilot property in the Best Environmental Practice program.
I think we're going to eliminate the city laying out all that cash for a filtration plant if we all work together and use some common sense, and I think it'll work. I see no problem at all with it, along with stabilizing agriculture in the region.
Protecting forests in catchment areas generally results in cleaner water downstream, helping ensure good quality water flow all the way to Manhattan. This approach is forecast to save New York City and its residents billions. In comparison, the cost of building a new water treatment plant would be as high as $8 billion, and hundreds of millions of dollars more in annual operating costs. The program is being primarily financed by a 9% increase in water taxes over 5 years. In comparison, a new filtration plant would have meant the doubling of water bills.
For all natural resources, more and more people are realizing that you can price it and understand it in a way that can become sustainable and actually then has a long-term return rather than a long-term cost.
This lesson in environmental economics would be one well learned by Istanbul in Turkey. Straddling Europe and Asia, it's been one of the world's most important cities for more than 2,500 years. Istanbul is home to at least 12 million people, and that number swells by 500,000 each year, making it Europe's fastest growing metropolis. The city is facing increasing pressure, and as the population blows out, water is an ever-important resource. Tens of thousands of new houses are built every year, and industry is booming. In the last decade alone, water consumption has tripled. Once all the drinking water in Istanbul came from the Belgrade forest on the European section of Turkey's landmass. Today, although the city's water now comes from 12 different sources, pollution and illegal development are threatening those reservoirs. Unlike New York, Istanbul is investing too much in expensive purification plants rather than protecting the source of the city's water, the catchment areas containing the forests. WWF fears that without urgent action to protect these catchment areas and the forests contained within them, many will be completely destroyed in the coming years. And like many other cities, this could have a devastating impact on Istanbul's water supply.
We would especially like to see better implementation of the protected area legislation. This is going to be very hard in a country like Turkey, but it's absolutely crucial for the long-term survival of these water supplies.
In addition to the economics, water-related diseases are a growing human tragedy, killing millions of people each year, 10 times the number of people killed in wars. More than 2 billion people suffer from diseases linked to dirty water, and some 60% of all infant mortality worldwide is water-related.
But when we see the problems faced by cities around the world and we see the increasing urbanization, many of these cities are growing, particularly in the developing world. I think anything that can save money and provide benefits to people and nature will be looked at very carefully by city authorities.
Well-managed protected areas can be a cost-effective way of helping to keep clean water flowing from our taps and save billions of dollars. For many cities, time is running out. Protecting forests around water catchment areas is no longer a luxury, but a necessity.